Having an online course is a great way to share your knowledge with others who need it, as well as boost your income. But when you start searching around to see where you want to host your course, the options can become a little overwhelming of where to put your awesome idea, which is why today I'm going to share with you why I personally chose Podia for my course and give an honest review of the features that it has. Hi, I'm Taylor Gill, a remote work and travel coach. I teach remote professionals how to work anywhere and live everywhere. And today I'm reviewing Podia, a site where you can create and sell your online course, where I have 2 courses currently hosted, my Finally Fully Remote and Standout Video Resume course. So the first question is, why Podia? And before I went with this, my experience with other platforms were Kajabi, which I had used for clients. I built them courses on that platform, and as a user of Teachable. But I had never actually been in the back end of Teachable. So I kind of assumed that's where I would spend my time. I'm not a huge fan of Kajabi, and I knew it just had more than what my needs were at the time. I really like Teachable as a user. So I started researching Podia versus Teachable just to see what the differences were. And the reason I ended up going with Podia in the end was, one, it gave me the option to offer and sell a download. So my very first course, Finally Fully Remote, actually just started as a PDF document, like a 20-page document, before it became a course. And so I liked that flexibility of being able to offer it one way, and then as I grew it, be able to use it in a different way without having to switch platforms. Podia also supports webinars and memberships. So again, this is sort of like me thinking ahead for the future. Like those are things that I'm going to want to create most likely. And so the fact that Podia already supports them, again, means that I don't have to switch platforms at a later date. And another thing that I really looked at was the cost of both platforms. So Podia, for their lowest tier, is $39 a month. And then it goes up to the next tier to be $79 a month. Teachable, if you look at it on monthly reoccurring system, it's also $39 a month for the lowest one, but then it jumps to $119 for the next tier. Also, on the lowest tier, Teachable takes out a 5% commission from all of your sales, and Podia doesn't. So knowing that I was going to start on the lowest tier just because it had all the features that I needed for right now, I decided to go with Podia because it doesn't take out any additional fees. So what do I like about Podia? And there are honestly a lot of things that I really do like about it. One is, I kind of mentioned up top, I have the ability to sell downloads, courses, memberships, or webinars. So I'm not just, even though I am a course creator, I don't have to sell my knowledge just in one way. I can actually do it in multiple ways, and Podia supports that.
In addition, just this week, Podia announced you can now sell coaching through the platform. So either as a standalone product or as a lesson in your course. So if you really want to take your courses to the next level and start offering one-on-one coaching to supplement the information in there, that is now a possibility.
Now, as far as using it on the back end, I found it really easy to use, really easy to navigate, create your lessons and understand how it's going to look to the user. There's also a way for you just to view the lesson as if you were, someone who had purchased the course. But overall, it looks pretty similar to what it's going to look like. So that makes building it out really easy. Also, within your lessons, you can put in quizzes. You can drip your lessons if you say, they only want them to get certain information on certain weeks. And then you can also bundle your courses or any of your products. So say you have a spreadsheet that goes with your online course or something, like you could bundle those together. You have 2 courses that are kind of complementary. You can sell them as one and people get access to both of them. So I kind of like the flexibility that it gives me in that way. And in addition to being able to build and host my course on Podia, I'm also given a website that I can design with my own brand colors and brand design that actually sells my courses. And I will say that if you have built websites or you've used, pretty advanced features, you're going to feel a little limited in the website, but honestly, I feel like it's good enough. And I'll talk about that a little bit later when I kind of discuss some of the things that I think could be improved. But honestly, like for what it is, it does the job that it needs to do. And you don't have to go overboard with knowing how to design or having a lot of like website building skills. And then if you didn't want to actually use their website, that's totally fine. You can actually build the sales page on your own website if you want, if you have one. And then if you're on the like the middle tier plan, the shaker plan, that's $79, you can actually just embed the checkout code. So because I'm on the lowest tier, I'm not actually able to use this, but I do think it's a really great feature to just build it on your own website with your own URL if that is really what you want to do, and keep it all in-house, and then just use that embed checkout code to make it like really simple for people to check out through Podia and get instant access to the course. And the other thing I've just been really impressed with is that they're just constantly making updates. I feel like they're really listening to feedback of the creators on what people actually need. So everything feels very focused on like what the creator needs. So whether that's a back-end functionality, whether that's front end, the way that something looks, or even recently they created some templates that you can use for your privacy policy and your terms and conditions and things like that. So kind of helping creators in all aspects, not just so focused on just course creation, but like what do creators need to actually get their knowledge out into the world? And that involves a lot of different stuff. So they're really supporting people in that way. And then their customer support has been really great. Every time I've had a question or didn't quite understand something, I, jump on the chat and I talk with them, and they answer pretty quickly, and they always have an answer for me. So I've been really happy with the level of support that I've received as well. Okay, so now my review of like what I think could be improved and the things that I find a little frustrating working with the system. So the first thing that I don't love how it's designed is actually sort of the checkout if you want to do add-ons or upsells. So if you look at, say, like a ClickFunnels or maybe even a Kartra, there's a very specific way that you're able to do add-ons. And then if you do an upsell, it actually takes you to another sales page that walks through and people have to say, no, I don't want this directly. The way Podia has it is basically you have your main sales page for the course you're selling. And then when they go to checkout, it just gives them a pop-up of like the image, like your course image or logo, and like a tiny box description of what it is. And it's like, do you want to add this? And then like, that's it. Like that's all that your upsell offer looks like, which means you're probably not going to sell them as much because you're not really able to give them enough information about what it is. So I do think in that way, I guess maybe if you bundled something and you were able to create its own sales page, and you could sell them together. But if you're really into the like add-on or upsell marketing sales funnel technique, Podia doesn't really support that very well, at least not yet. And then the next thing I kind of mentioned above is their editor and their sort of like design. So their WYSIWYG, if you don't know what that stands for, it's what you see is what you get. It's usually that toolbar that you're using that like bolds, italicizes, kind of like gives you some of those design features. Theirs is really basic. It's mainly bolding, italicizing, and bulleting. And then any sort of formatting, sort of like left, centered, or left align, centered align, whatever, that's actually set within the whole section, and you can't change it for individual paragraphs. And as far as I know, you can't change colors for certain words either. So like when it comes to the design aspect, again, it's just one of those things that if you have used a lot of other systems, you're going to feel a little limited. But at the same time, I kind of liked it sometimes because when I was just there was so much work to getting my course out there. I knew I couldn't really overthink things, right? I couldn't play with the colors and I couldn't mess around with it too much. Like I just kind of was able to get it out there really fast. And if you do have some sort of design knowledge, you can probably make it look really good still. So just know that like the actual editor itself is pretty basic. And then I kind of mentioned earlier the website. There's some limitations in that, but overall, I think it still looks good. And if you have your own brand colors and fonts and stuff, it's still going to look on brand. Like it still looks really nice. So I don't have a major issue with how it looks to the user, but it's just from the back end using the editing functions, I would really love for them to be, one step up. And then the last thing that I also kind of had a little frustration with is the coupons. So you can create coupons, which is awesome, and give them to people for launch or for holidays or something, but you can't edit coupons. And to be fair, I don't know if this is like normal on other platforms. It might be a totally normal thing. But for me, I find it a little frustrating that, say I had a coupon for like a holiday weekend, right? And I decide halfway through, I'm going to extend it for one more day, right? Like it's going really well. And I just want to like, you know, have an extra 24 hours there. Well, I can't do that. Once it's created, you can't edit it at all, even if it is just to extend it, if you've put an expiration date on it. Same thing if it hasn't even like been activated. So again, say I have set dates for a holiday, but that original date hasn't even started yet. So it's not even active. I still can't go in and change that date. And then once you've used that code, you can't use that code again, which totally makes sense. But if you can't edit the date, then you have to create a brand new code and come up with something different that you would want to use. So hopefully you haven't told people what the code is. So I don't know. It's just like little things like that. Like I get once a code is active, or maybe once a code is already been expired, not being able to edit it. But it was just a little frustrating. I made an accident when I was creating one and I set the wrong date, and then I wasn't even able to use it at all. And so I had to go create another one. So just being able to like do little edits like that for coupons specifically would be kind of a nice feature to have. So that's it. That's kind of my like just general overview of Podia. I might actually do a Podia tutorial later just to show you how you actually use it on the back end. But overall, I think it's a really great platform for any sort of creators, new creators, experienced creators. There's actually a lot of people who've switched from other platforms to Podia because it does actually offer a lot. In the way of services and features that, and like I mentioned earlier, like your ability to sell different types of products instead of just courses. So that's really great. So again, that is Podia. I will leave a link down below and you can go check it out. They do have a 14-day free trial. So if you just want to go play around and see what it's like, you're totally welcome to do that. And if it's something that you like, you might want to, continue on, or maybe you get a spark for an awesome idea once you're in the site. So I am Traveling Taylor. Thank you for watching my review on Podia. If you would like to see more videos like this, be sure to subscribe so that you don't miss next week's publication. You can also follow me on Instagram, also at Traveling Taylor, and I will see you next week.